Hello, here a short video to explain how we can list objects in RhinoNest. Okay, imagine that you want to do a nesting of this course, okay, and here the result. Obviously it's complex to identify these objects. For that reason it's recommendable that you list these objects before to do the nesting. Okay, then let me delete the nesting. Okay, then we have several ways to do it. Maybe the easier way is using list command. Okay. Firstly, we need to select the objects. Next. Voila, here we have the results. Just a note is here the numbers, okay, is not a random numbers, okay. Start from 1 to 40 in this case, but use the Rhino order of the objects, okay. For sure, I don't know exactly in this file, but for sure some objects was created. The first object created was this, the second was this one, okay, and for that reason RhinoNest get exactly the same order than Rhino has, okay. If you don't like this order, no problems, let me undo. Okay, you come here and you must select one per one instead of use window selection, okay. Then this is more time. Okay, we select all of these. Good. 40 objects. Okay, good. Secondly, we need to define the parameters. We have different types of list. By default is the dot, okay, it's a typical dot of Rhino. It's really great to see the number in the screen because always you have the same size, but it's not good for printing, okay, for print in a plotter, okay. For that reason, it's better to use the text, okay. This text is exactly the same text that you has in dimension, okay. It's a standard Rhino text, okay. Why we have this orientation? Because this object was created in the other orientation, okay. Usually it's extremely interesting, that thing. In this case maybe sound a little bit strange, but you can keep exactly the same orientation of the object, okay. But okay, here we have the numbers. Now I will show you how you can modify, if you want, modify the position and these things. But for CNC machines and laser cutters, these dimensions is not exportable in HPGL, okay. For that reason we have the third option, and the third option has a single stroke font, okay. Okay. You have the option to add prefix if you want, and also you can edit, okay, the objects, okay. For example, in this case is okay. In the second, for example, I don't want this dimension here, I want this dimension here, okay. And if you want you can rotate, okay. Okay, great. Also you can modify the size, okay. For example, you say, okay, this in this case maybe is by default is 1 millimeter, okay, because this object is really small, but you can increase, okay. Okay. Also you can apply to all the objects. For example, you say, okay, I want to use 0.75 to all the objects, okay. Then you don't need to modify one per one, okay. Automatically apply all, okay. Good. Then we have all the numbers, great. And remember, to do the nesting is interesting to have the objects grouped, okay. For that reason we have grouped them, okay. And finally, finish. And here is, now we have a group, okay. And then we come to nesting. We want to nesting these objects, okay. We want to nest these objects in this size, okay. It's 40 per 20. Okay, distance, the maximum time, okay, we will increase that, okay. The freedom, in this case we can use 90 degrees, okay, because it's squares. It doesn't make sense that we rotate free and these things. And maybe because these objects are really small, we reduce the distance precision, okay. In millimeters it's not necessary, okay. If you have objects of 200 millimeters, something like that, the normal cutter objects, you don't need to do that, okay. The default is great, okay. Next, and here is the nesting, okay. Thanks for watching.